speaking to South Sudan's Minister of Information, Ateny Wek Ateny. So is there a renewed civil war now in South Sudan?
No, there's no civil war. South Sudan government is still committed to implementing the revitalized peace agreement on the resolution of the conflict, which is the only way out from the war. But the SPLM-IO forces, they started to attack the government forces in their areas that they were stationed, particularly on the wake of the arrest of the former First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and others. The element of the SPLM-IO started to fight, and the government forces, the SSPDF, fought back in self-defense.
Okay, and we heard the opposition say that you had started it. So let's move on to something that the military appears to be saying. South Sudan's Deputy Army Chief, General Johnson Olony, has been seen in a video posted on Facebook saying, "Spare no one. The elderly, children, birds, leave no house standing." Is that what your army is intending to do? A massacre in opposition-held parts of the country?
No, not at all. Such a statement doesn't represent the position of the government.
But it is the Deputy Army Chief who said it in a video.
Johnson Olony, given that he's actually the assistant for moral orientation, he has been betrayed by the expressions, to say so. But
remains
that one is not a position of a government at all. The government is committed to ensure protection of the civilian, and we give warning to civilians in order not to be caught up in a crossfire.
Okay.
But otherwise, the government,
Does he remain in his
is a
post?
responsible government. The government is a responsible government and is protecting the civilian.
Okay, but does this particular Deputy Army Chief, General Johnson Olony, remain in post, the man who made those statements?
That is only actually view, and then the army will look at this.
The Deputy Army Chief said to his forces, "Spare no one," and you dismiss that as merely somebody expressing his view. Surely that is an order to forces to kill people.
That completely is not an order, because the chief of staff himself is in the area, and the deputy, he cannot. Okay, the assistant is an assistant. The assistant cannot provide the way the army operates. Because the whole command is in the area. So his position, given that he's a person that has no much education, he has been betrayed about to go and say something like that.
Right. Why haven't you sacked him then, if he's saying such things which you regard as reprehensible?
He's still in the area. He's still commanding the forces. If there is
so he is commanding forces then. He's not just a man expressing a view. He is in charge of forces, and he is saying, "Spare no one, the elderly, children, leave no house standing."
He's not in charge. He's not in charge.
You just said he was commanding forces.
Sure, General Paul Nang Majok is the one in charge. General Paul Nang Majok is the one in charge as the chief of defense force. Johnson Olony doesn't provide any orders for the army.
The UN Commissioner on Human Rights in South Sudan, though, has expressed grave alarm at this statement, and indeed the fighting more broadly. They say that 180,000 people are believed to have been forced to flee their homes by escalating fighting. Wouldn't the actions of a responsible government that cared about its people be to de-escalate this situation as quickly as possible and release the opposition leader so the violence can end?
The SPLM-IO is very aggressive. They aggress our forces in the position that the SSPDF controls prior to the signing of peace agreement in 2018. After the arrest of Dr. Riek Machar, they started mobilizing the white army, the SPLM-IO forces all over, so that they take over the garrison that were actually before controlled by the SSPDF. So the SSPDF is only intervening in order to stop the advancement of the SPLM-IO. As you heard from their spokesperson that they are marching to Juba, the SSPDF is actually attempting to stop them.
South Sudan's Minister of Information there, Ateny Wek Ateny. Amir, listening in Sudan, says, in North and Southern Sudan, the military has moved away from its role of protecting civilians. Corruption, political interference, displacement, abuses have tarnished the integrity of the military uniform. Akayu in Uganda says the senior politicians in South Sudan are merely being selfish. That is why the peace agreement has not been implemented. I should remind them that not only does South Sudan belong to them all, but it's also enough for all of them. And McKenny, a listener here, Mohammed in Sierra Leone, says, Sudanese, please don't allow the world to enter. Don't destroy your country. Stop the fighting. Please embrace peace. Thank you very much indeed for all of your messages.